Makhanlal Chaturvedi, National University of Journalism and Communication, and eminent journalist, Professor K.G. Sureshji. We will also have with us the senior consultant and anchor of DD News Live, Madam Reema Parasarji, and we will have the presence of senior journalist, founding editor of Satyapatha.com and founder editor of News 18, Z Kalinga, Kanak TV, and the Samay docufilm maker, Shri Satyaprakash Nayak, as the chief guest of this session. It is indeed my pleasure and honor to welcome each one of you for this important valedictory session of 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism. In last 2 days, today we are here in the 3rd day of 4th NCMJ. The theme of this year's conference revolved around the contribution of media in spreading and promoting peace in the global context, especially the new media and the challenges posed by the rapid changes in the media landscape. This conference for last 2 days aimed to open up communication channels to address the challenges involved in covering conflicts as well as negotiating peace in the inclusive manner. And now, here we are in the valedictory session of 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism. I would like to request all the dignitaries, along with Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. R.M. Chitnis sir, to join hands for ringing the bell of democracy, which will mark the beginning of this session. Them in ringing the bell of democracy. A few of them. Yes, please go ahead. The contribution of students and your role in strengthening the democratic fabric is really important. So all the students are also lining up and joining for this memorable photograph. It's a long rope, guys. Don't worry. Just pull it forward. A big round of applause, my friends, for this important moment in 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I now request Honorable Vice Chancellor and all the dignitaries to join hands for lighting the traditional lamp. Hello, check. A big round of applause, my friends. A very important tradition in Indian culture, lighting the traditional lamp, which shows us the path. This light will guide us, will show us the path in ensuring that our cause is achieved, our goal is achieved. In presence of Shri Satyaprakash Nayak ji, Professor K.G. Sureshji, Madam Reema Parasarji and Professor Priyanka Upadhyay, we are witnessing the 4th NCMJ's valedictory session. I request all the dignitaries to kindly accept the chair on the dais. My friends, in last 2 days, we discussed some of the important topics like 75 years of Indian journalism, OTT, whatever happened to the blockbuster, documenting past, present and future, new media, new jobs, and voice of peace in times of conflict. Important topics were discussed, and if you see the glimpses of the 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism, some of the important and daunting problems in the society of our country today were discussed, solutions were proposed, and it was understood that students are going to play an extremely important role in bringing peace through media and communications. And today, with the galaxy of stalwarts, we are ready to begin with the valedictory session of 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism. I would like to request everyone on the dais and off the dais to please rise in their seats for national song Vande Mataram. I request everyone to observe silence, rise in their seats. National anthem, please. National song, I'm sorry.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam, Sufalam, Malayaj Sheetalam, Shasya Shamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram. Shubhra-jyosna pulakitayaminim Pullakusumita drumadala shobhinim Suhasinim Sumadhura bhashinim Sukhadam varadam mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram.
Thank you very much. Let's keep standing for a few moments more. As per the tradition of Myers MIT Group of Institutions for last 4 decades, I would like to share with all the dignitaries on the dais that we start every important occasion, every day at every institution of Myers MIT Group with a prayer called as World Peace Prayer. If you pay attention to the words of this prayer, you will understand that this prayer does not talk about any caste, creed, religion, or any particular section of society. This prayer is a prayer to Almighty for the world peace of entire humanity. I request everyone present here in this hall to please fold their hands, close their eyes, bring the image of their mother, father, deity in front of their eyes, and wholeheartedly participate in World Peace Prayer.
Om Namo Jiyadya Veda Pratipadya Jaya Jaya Swasamvedya Atmarupa Devatuti Ganeshu Sakalartha Mati Prakashu Mane Nivrittidasu Avadhari Bodhi गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Thank you very much. And now I would like to request the Director of MIT School of Government at MIT World Peace University, Professor Dr. K. Girisan, to propose the welcome address.
Namaste. Good morning. I deem it as a great privilege for me to be here to propose the vote of thanks for the valedictory session of the 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism. On behalf of the Founder President, Professor Vishwashanti Karat, Executive President, Sri Rahul Karat, and the Organizing Committee, I welcome all of you to this valedictory session of the 4th Conference of National Conference of Media and Journalism. As a citizen of world's largest democracy, and as a student of political science and public administration, and also as a faculty of governance, I think it's very important for me to share few thoughts before I move to the customary address of welcoming the guests and welcoming the delegates to the conference. We are all well aware that democracy is the best form of government. Of course, it has certain limitations as well, but still it is far superior to all other forms of government. And media constitute the 4th pillar of democracy after legislature, executive, and judiciary. And media plays a vital role in generating, strengthening, and sustaining the democratic culture, ethos, principles, values in taking the country forward, and also in bringing appropriate changes, and as a major element or major instrument of bringing social change and social transformation in the society. It also contributes in raising the public consciousness of the citizens in many ways. And we all know media acts like a bridge between the government and the public. I am trying to look at the uniqueness of the national conference that deliberated on 3 major concepts: dialogue, inclusivity, and peace. And when you translate these words into Hindi, it's 3 S. Samvad, Samaveshita, and Shanti. And we all know that dialogue, debate, discussions, deliberations, and dissent, they are the vital elements of democracy. And for realizing progress and prosperity of any country, inclusive approach, inclusive growth, inclusive development, and inclusive governance are very, very essential. Inclusivity shall be felt, shall be understood, and shall be practiced, and also translated through various initiatives, interventions, actions, maybe through the policies and programs and activities by the government as well as outside people outside the government. And when you look at the importance of inclusivity, everyone's voice shall be heard, everyone gets an equal opportunity, and everyone takes ownership in the growth and development and progress of a country. From that perspective, inclusive approach, inclusive growth, inclusive development are very essential. And if we want to move from the largest democracy to the largest functional and deliberative democracy, where citizens play a very important role and citizen-centric governance is a reality. I think this conference would have added a lot of values, lot of ideas, lot of experiences, lot of sharings from that angle. And before I move to the customary address, I would like to highlight a bit about three major initiatives taken up by the MIT World Peace University. One is starting the first school for political leadership through the MIT School of Government, followed by taking up the classroom to the largest segment of the country by organizing Bharatiya Chhatra Sansad, National Student Parliaments in number of series. And the third one which we are going to embark is initiating a National Legislators Conference which will be held here in the next year, June 2023. And let me move to the customary address. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend a hearty welcome to the Sri Satyaprakash Naik, the senior journalist and the chief guest of the conference. Sir, we welcome. And we also welcome Ms. Rima Parashar, senior consultant and anchor of DD News Live, and Professor K.G. Suresh, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Makanlal Chaturvedi, National University of Journalism and Communication, and an eminent journalist, and Professor Priyankar Upadhyay, our own person, is the Chair Professor, UNESCO Chair for Peace and International Understanding. And though it's not necessary, but it's customary on my part to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor R.M. Chitnis, and Professor Dheeraj Singh, the man behind the whole event, and all faculty, students, and all delegates who are part of this conference. I am sure the conference during the last 3 days would have played a great role in bringing changes towards deliberating on various aspects of dialogue, inclusivity, and peace. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for setting the tone and proposing the welcome address in the valedictory session of 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism. As I was discussing with you, my friends, for last 2 days, an important discourse of knowledge, 5 important topics were discussed in this particular conference. Let's have a quick recap of what exactly happened in last 2 days through a small film. I request my technical team to kindly take us through a small recap of last 2 days of 4th NCMJ. Over to you, team.
Hello, this is Kanksha.
And this is Chinmay.
And we welcome you to the 3rd edition of Dr. Vishwashanti Karad, MIT World Peace University's 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism.
Centered around the theme of dialogue, inclusivity and peace, NCMJ aims to provide a platform for meaningful discussions amongst the media community. This year's conference is associated with the R.K. Lakshman Museum, Mumbai Press Club, the Foreign Correspondents Club of South Asia, and the Pune Union of Working Journalists.
The objective of NCMJ is to appreciate as well as critically analyze the role of media and journalism in peace-building processes. Our mission is to ignite the spirit of ethical journalism ingrained with social sensitivity. We also aim to raise the extent of awareness, involvement, responsiveness, and access to open deliberations between media leaders, policymakers, youth, society, and industry at large.
The first 2 days of the conference have been a huge success marked by prominent speakers. The first day held the inaugural ceremony along with speakers like Usha Lakshman, director of the R.K. Lakshman Museum, Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist and political analyst, Jawahar Sirkar, member of the Rajya Sabha, and Smita Prakash, editor of Asian News International, who discussed topics like OTT, what happened to the blockbuster, and cancel culture.
3 journalists from 3 platforms, print, digital and broadcast, were awarded with the MIT World Peace University's Journalism for Peace Award. The awardees were Ravleen Kaur, independent journalist at Down to Earth, Neetu Singh, independent journalist at Gao Connection, and Sushil Kumar Mahapatra, senior editor at NDTV.
The second day brought a plethora of interesting opportunities for communication with eminent speakers on gripping topics like documenting past, present and future, the changing mediascape, credibility, revenue and technology, new media, new jobs.
In the first session, documenting past, present and future, the panel K.S. Sridhar, Indian film director, Miriam Chandi Menachari, documentary filmmaker, Farah Khatun, editor and documentary filmmaker, and Shilpi Gulati, professor and documentary filmmaker. Once viewed as something stiff and unartistic, documentary films have, in recent years, climbed to the top of the world of cinema through the usage of modern technology and powerful film subjects. Rooted in actuality, documentaries have played a pivotal role in bringing forth real-life events that are often stranger than fiction. In this panel, we had with us people involved and engaged with documentary cinema, and we heard from them about the specific role documentary films play in the present as well as the challenges they face in the near absence of state patronization.
The second session with the theme of the changing mediascape, credibility, revenue and technology, which was facilitated by the Pune Union of Working Journalists, presented a platform where senior as well as young journalists could come together to share their insights on these challenges and also deliberate upon the possible solutions. The speakers for this session were Prachi Kulkarni, senior broadcast journalist at SAM TV, Samrat Fadnis, editor at Sakal Media Group, and Yogesh Joshi.
For the last session of the day, the topic New Media and New Jobs, we had with us Raghuvendra Verma, Director, Mubarak Ansari, T. Surendra and Amir Tamim. The applications of technology in the industry have created fresh job opportunities. The privileges of fame and influence no longer rest with established names, giving way to youth and its new talent. From newspapers to independent news portals, radios to podcasts, and Doordarshan to Netflix, these changes in the world of media have paved the way for the migration of professionals from traditional jobs to new and unique job profiles which were unheard of before.
The valedictory ceremony will be held today. We will be joined by Professor K.G. Suresh, Sri Satyaprakash Nayak, Professor Priyankar Upadhyay, Professor Dr. R.M. Chitnis, Sri Rahul D. Karad, and UNESCO Chairholder, Reverend Founder, Professor Dr. Vishwashanti D. Karad on this auspicious ceremony. The theme for the valedictory ceremony is Voice of Peace in Times of Conflict. Hard as this is to be believed that we live in one of the most peaceful periods of human society, but still many societies apparently at peace are far from peaceful. The rise of social media has laid bare the many fisheries among people while at the same time providing a platform to negotiate those conflicts.
While this conference has tried to provide a platform to examine the role of media in society as the voice of peace and the challenges therein, we will end our conference with this valedictory session revisiting some of the findings and pledging to create a more ethical and peaceful media industry.
Vishwanath Karad, MIT World Peace University's National Conference on Media and Journalism is one of its own and opens conversations, collaborations, and helps to generate new ideas. This year's conference was enthralling and shed light on serious issues faced by the media industry as a whole. It gave opportunity to students to be present in a room filled with inspiring people and engage in meaningful conversations with them.
Thank you very much. Let's give a big round of applause for last 2 days of 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism. And with this, I would now like to request the Honorable Vice Chancellor of MIT World Peace University, Professor Dr. R.M. Chitnis sir, to address the gathering. Please put your hands together and welcome with a round of applause, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. R.M. Chitnis sir.
Once again, very warm welcome to all the distinguished guests. May I welcome on behalf of Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, on behalf of Rahul Karad sir, all the trustee members of mine, all the faculty members, admin staff and students for this valedictory session of 4th National Conference on Media Journalism. As the film said, we have 4 resource persons today who are doyen in their particular area of journalism with specific perspective of introducing peace in this country or in this particular, on this particular globe. At this point of time, we have a sense of satisfaction on hearing of thoughts of wisdom from all the experts till today. And I'm sure that during last 3 days, we had very healthy discussions on varied topics such as 75 years of Indian media, OTT platforms, documenting past, present and future, challenges before vernacular media, new roles, new jobs, and finally, voice of peace in times of conflicts. As you are aware, media is the 4th important pillar, and that's part of our democracy. This conference also included students from other than School of Mass Communication, the schools such as School of Law, School of Liberal Arts, School of Design, in addition to Mass Communication. It's because you are the member of this nation. This country belongs to you. It is your duty and responsibility to ask questions to government, to the four pillars of this democracy. May it be media, may it be bureaucracy, may it be politics itself. It's your duty and responsibility. Do you say if you have a 3-bedroom flat that my bedroom is this, I am not aware about what is happening in the rest of the 2 bedrooms? And that's why this country belongs to you. Bringing peace to this country is your right, but there is a small responsibility. And that responsibility is take active part in asking questions to 4 pillars of this particular democracy. And since media is one of the most important pillar today, all the students are brought from Kothurud campus to this. And hope you will do this not only for today, but rest of the life. You give promise to yourself that this country is like home to me, like my home, this entire country is mine. And I will be very, very responsible citizen of this India. And there will be direct major contribution of my life in bringing peace to this country. While objective of this conference was to provide platform to examine the role of media in Indian society as the voice of peace and the challenges therein, we are happy to note that the experts' talks and discussions in the last 3 days have definitely succeeded in revisiting the finding towards creating a more ethical and more peaceful media and peaceful country. Topic of voice of peace in times of conflict resonated well with the teaching of pedagogy of MIT World Peace University. And on the other hand, as a responsible and academic institution, MIT World Peace University devoted to imparting value-based and holistic education for lifetime transformation, we must identify the outcome of this conference in the perspective of our students. My dear students, this is only for you. When we started in 2017 Peace Program, lots of students and parents asked questions. We are here for pharmacy, we are here for law, we are here for engineering, we are 152-degree programs on the campus. And why this Peace Program? But those students who passed out, when they come as alumni, and we are talking to them and their parents, they realize, oh God, now we understand the importance of the peace program given. So right now, you may be in 2 minds, why NCMJ, what is in for us, but later on, as it comes into your veins, the peace process, you will understand that you are different and you have an edge over others. This is what is our experience with the students who passed and are our alumni, and now they are appreciating the peace program. The basic idea of our founder, President Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, while conceptualizing this National Conference on Media and Journalism, or NCMJ, as we call it, was the role of media in maintaining peace. And since this is world's largest peace dome, this will be conducted in this dome, which gives a signal that you, at the age of 18, and all these resource persons came together and started the process of peace, accelerated the process of peace, and you are given the peace message to the entire world. It's pleasure to note that the 4th edition of NCMJ, we are steadily but assertively marching towards achieving the objective of NCMJ, National Conference of Media and Journalism. And for our students, the best takeaways would be the learning lessons from the churning of thoughts and discussions of the expert speakers. Once again, on behalf of our founder president, executive vice president, we welcome, and on behalf of all of you, we welcome these 4 important doyens in the media industry. And I'm sure, like last 2 days, today's valedictory session, you will have a lot of deliberations, questions, and then you can send them emails or be in touch with them on WhatsApp or telephone. This will definitely help you than not doing anything. With this word, I would like to conclude. Thank you very much for patiently listening. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Dhanyawad.
Thank you very much, Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. It was indeed nice of him to share with all these young minds the importance of peace program, the importance of such gathering. And today, where we all keep talking about the innovations and we keep talking about interdisciplinary solutions, I think such conferences, and especially the fourth national conference on media and journalism, played an important role. Thank you very much, sir. I would now like to request Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, as per the tradition of this platform, to welcome and felicitate all the dignitaries on the dais. First, I would like to request sir to kindly felicitate and welcome the chief guest of this session, senior journalist and founding editor of Satyapath.com and former editor of News 18, Shri Satya Prakash Nayak ji. Please put your hands together and welcome with a big round of applause, my friends, Shri Satya Prakash Nayak ji, the chief guest of today's session. A big round of applause once again, my friends. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your presence here today. I would now like to request sir to kindly felicitate and welcome the special guest of honor of this session, Professor K.G. Sureshji, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Makhanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism and Communication, and eminent journalist. Please put your hands together and welcome with a round of applause, Professor Dr. K.G. Sureshji. A big round of applause, my friends. Next, I would like to request sir to kindly felicitate and welcome the special guest of honor of this session, Madam Reema Parasarji, Senior Consultant and Anchor, DD News Live. Please put your hands together, my friend, and welcome with a round of applause, Madam Reema Parasarji. I now request sir to kindly felicitate and welcome the special guest of honor of this session, Professor Dr. Priyankar Upadhyay ji, the chairholder of UNESCO Chair for Peace and Intercultural Understanding and coordinator of Malaviya Center for Peace Research, Faculty of Social Sciences, Banaras Hindu University. A big round of applause, my friends, for Professor Dr. Priyankar Upadhyay ji. Thank you very much, dignitaries. Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor, sir. Thank you. My friends, such platforms create a place where youth of this country can come together, discuss, deliberate, and find solution to some of the daunting problems that our society is facing today. 5 important topics were discussed in last 2 days in this 4th edition of National Conference on Media and Journalism. My friends, our Executive President, Shri Rahul V. Karat sir, is known for creating such platforms which would try to have a focused discussion on some of the important topics of our society. More than a decade ago, he established MIT School of Government, a very first school of Asia, where the future political leaders of this country were trained. Of course, in the beginning, this thought was laughed at, that in a country like India, you cannot have an institution which will train politicians and you will have learned political leaders in our country. But MIT School of Government is, as well said by Professor Girisan sir, it's standing strong for last more than decade, and the alumni of MIT SOG are decorating tall positions in various political parties of our country. MIT School of Government gave birth to yet another important platform of Bharatiya Chhatra Sansad, a platform where young citizens of our country are invited to discuss and deliberate in the presence of tall political leaders of our country and have one-on-one dialogue with them. After the grand success of the movement of Bharatiya Chhatra Sansad, many such platforms like National Teachers Congress, National Women's Parliament were shaped. And now we are getting ready for yet another important platform where we would be inviting the MLAs and MLCs from across the country, 28 states and union territories of our country, to come together and deliberate upon the problems of our country. It is going to be a very, very important gathering for the first time in the history of 75 years of independence of our country. I would like to request my technical team to share with us this National Legislators Conference through a film. Over to you, team.
भारत विश्व के सबसे विशाल लोकतंत्र के 75 साल, इन ऐतिहासिक पलों को महत्वपूर्ण बना रहा है लोकतंत्र का महाकुंभ, यानी प्रथम राष्ट्रीय विधायक सम्मेलन का भव्य आयोजन। आदरणीय शिवराज पाटिल जी, मनोहर जोशी जी, मीरा कुमार जी और सुमित्रा महाजन जी के कुशल मार्गदर्शन में 50 से भी ज्यादा राष्ट्रीय और क्षेत्रीय राजनीतिक दलों की भागीदारी। भारत के राजनीतिक इतिहास में पहली बार एक गैर राजनीतिक मंच पर एकत्रित होंगे भारत के 28 राज्यों और 8 केंद्र शासित प्रदेशों के 4000 से भी ज्यादा निर्वाचित प्रतिनिधि। इस 3 दिवसीय वैचारिक मंथन में होंगे 40 से ज्यादा समानांतर सत्र जो तय करेंगे नए भारत की सुनहरी तस्वीर, जैसे कि विधायकों के प्रदर्शन में सुधार, सुशासन के लिए नए प्रयोग, सामाजिक समावेश पर आधारित भारत का आर्थिक विकास, कैसे बने सफल और संवेदनशील जनप्रतिनिधि, भारतीय लोकतंत्र को एक नई दिशा में ले जाने वाला भागीरथी प्रयास, यानी राष्ट्रीय विधायक सम्मेलन 2023। क्या है ये राष्ट्रीय विधायक सम्मेलन? एक मंच जो विधायकों को अपने दायित्वों के निर्वहन में करेगा और अधिक सक्षम, जिससे शक्तिशाली होगा हमारा लोकतंत्र। इस मंच पर होगी जनप्रतिनिधियों के समक्ष आने वाली चुनौतियों पर चर्चा, जातिवाद, सांप्रदायिकता, भ्रष्टाचार और अपराधीकरण जैसी ज्वलंत समस्याओं पर होगा विस्तृत विचार मंथन। राष्ट्रीय विधायक सम्मेलन 2023 जो लिखेगा भारतीय राजनीति की एक नई इबारत, जहां विभिन्न राजनीतिक विचारधाराएं आपसी मतभेदों को भुलाकर करेंगी लोकतंत्र को शक्तिशाली बनाने का अमृत मंथन, जहां मिलेगी युवाओं को राजनीति में आने की प्रेरणा, जहां लिखा जाएगा सुशासन, नेतृत्व, लोकतंत्र और विश्व शांति निर्माण का एक नया अध्याय। भारतीय लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों से मिलेगी दुनिया को प्रेरणा, जहां भारत को केवल सबसे बड़ा ही नहीं बल्कि सर्वश्रेष्ठ लोकतंत्र बनाने का होगा महायज्ञ। एक ऐसा यज्ञ जो ले जाएगा हमें परिवर्तन की ओर, आत्मनिर्भरता की ओर। भारतीय राजनीतिक इतिहास में उभर रहा है एक नया वैचारिक मंच, पहला राष्ट्रीय विधायक सम्मेलन 2023,
National Legislators Conference 2023.
Let's give a big hand to this thought of National Legislators Conference, and let's wish that this conference would create a new pathways in Indian democracy. With this, my friends, it is time when I invite the first special guest of honor, Professor Dr. Priyankar Upadhyay ji, to address the gathering. But before that, I would like to request my technical team if they can please take us through the life and work of Professor Dr. Priyankar Upadhyay ji through a short film. Over to you, team.
Professor Priyankar Upadhyay Currently serves as a UNESCO Chair Professor for Peace and Intercultural Understanding at the Banaras Hindu University, where he also heads the Malavia Center for Peace Research, one of the most prestigious center for peace and conflict studies. He has taught international relations and peace studies for over 3 decades and supervised over 25 doctoral and postdoctoral researchers. He has also served in various quality committees constituted by the Indian government, including the Civil Service Examination Reform Committee. In June 2016, Professor Upadhyay delivered a speech at the UN Consultative Meet on Peace as a Process, which was held at Geneva. In 2016, Professor Upadhyay was invited by President Barack Obama to the White House to attend a meeting on religious and interfaith dialogue where he represented the Indian education system. It is an honor to have such a renowned personality with us here today. We warmly welcome Professor Priyankar Upadhyay.
Please put your hands together and welcome with a big round of applause Professor Dr. Priyankar Upadhyay ji.
धन्यवाद। इसके पहले कि मैं आपको एड्रेस करूं, ये इतनी सुंदर कमेंट्री और ये विजुअल्स होते हैं that really they are so moving that every time I think that I should congratulate the team that out of nowhere they digs it out and prepare this particular screenshot. Vice Chancellor Professor Chitnis, celebrities around on the podium and also across the young mind, young people for whom we make all these efforts, because they are the future citizens. They are going to be the global citizens on this planet Earth. So, so much to share. The theme, first of all, let me congratulate the organizers, particularly Professor Dr. Dheeraj Singh, for giving a very appropriate subtitle to this particular seminar on media, that is dialogue, inclusivity and peace. They are all interrelated. So what am I going to share with you in next few minutes is my own experience now as a senior academic or as a human being about what we expect from the press and media and what has been our experience and what is the way forward. When I think about this particular theme, my mind races back to early 90s. Yes, I was and I'm still associated with Banaras Hindu University, and an unprecedented event took place early 90s. The students, very agitated on the campus, Banaras Hindu University, early 90s, wake of communal disaffection and a bit of violence, they go and burn a Department of Urdu Studies, which was absolutely unprecedented. And you know the provocation? The provocation was a news coverage in one of the erstwhile leading Hindi local newspaper, which mentioned that 7 people of a community were thrown in a well in Aligarh Muslim University and they died. And this provoked our student community to do so. Later on, the press council, if you remember, did its own researches and actually penalized the newspaper. I'm not naming them, it's a thing of past, for the fake news. It was entirely a fake news. Those days, there was no social media. Those days, no television. Even the mobile phones were not on. It was difficult for us to confirm it happened or not. Later on, it transpired. There was no well on the campus. Nothing of that kind happened. Just an example what media can do to flare up, to propagate that kind of hatred that might corrupt and vitiate the minds of young people. The scenario changes. Once again, we are in Varanasi, Banaras. The very celebrated Sankat Mochan Temple, 2006. The country is very tensed. And a bomb blast takes place in many parts of the city, especially in the Sankat Mochan Temple, the revered Hanumanji's temple. People die. There is so much of stress and tension. It was bound to be the augury of a nationwide communal violence. But nothing happens. No administration, no police. The peacemaking was led by the religious teachers, the Mahant of Sankat Mochan Foundation, and also the chief cleric of the Muslim community. Seems they were prepared. But the critical role was played by the media then. The television had arrived. Some of these channels time and again showed Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai player, showing him 15 minutes, asking people very loaded questions. Do you really like peace? And I could see, we were researching, I'm interested in peace questions. Some of them holding stones in their hands, about to start the violence. Yes, we want peace. Media played a critical role in preempting a possible communal violence. These are two practical examples, more important than the kind of pedagogies that you use. So yes, we have had a glorious tradition. The press, traditional press, no social media, no new media. We had Harijan. If you go back and look at the files of Mahatma Gandhi's led newspaper, Bharat Kesari, they were at constant dialogue places, talking about abysmal poverty, talking about structural violence, talking about so many things that concern the positive peace building. Peace is not simply the absence of war. Peace is not simply India-Pakistan. Peace is about development, about women empowerment, about so many things. And these newspapers were doing it. But the press had to play a role, and it had started showing its negative potentials. Came a time when one of the founding fathers of peace studies, Johann Galtung, coined a new term, that is peace journalism. It was coined by Johann Galtung because till then we were talking about war journalism. Nobody was talking about peace journalism. So media, now we have transited from press to social media and the new social media. So all this has become a powerful recipe of bringing any kind of change in the mindset of people. The popular imagination is almost entirely controlled. The young mind sitting here, every 2 minutes they are looking at their mobiles, the social media, Facebook, Twitter, and they can capture your mind, and this is happening. Generally speaking, peace, the media has been more or less abysmally misused, disused, and the consequences are not very difficult to see around. But my argument and our argument is that the media can be used and is being used as a megaphone for peace, human rights, democracy, and so many ways. Unfortunately, we also look for more sensational news. And I'll come to a famous conceptualization why this is so. But we need to remember peace, the media can play a negative role. It does play a positive role also. And very lately, in our kind of peace research we do, we are utilizing the new social media or new media, whatever prefer you call it, in analyzing conflict, in understanding the conflict dynamics, and also creating a public space for mediation and conflict transformation. So it's like a nuclear energy. It's a potent weapon, perhaps the single most important trajectory to bring about social transformation, positive or negative. But the lamentation here is, look at our newspapers and media. Where is the focus? If I were to ask this very young and very vibrant audience, how many people of you know that the United Nations has passed a resolution confirming a right to peace? Raise your hands. Right to peace. Have you heard about this? No. Do you know that nuclear weapons have been declared illegal by the United Nations General Assembly? No. Because our newspapers and our media channels did not give any damn to it. For them, still, a dismal sensationalization or bad news attracts TRP. And I think all of us, including, and that kind of value system is getting lesser importance, lesser prioritization. So in the world of increasing digitization of societies, we are facing a time when we need to focus very hard on the problematic today and how to preempt this digital media into spreading hates and how social media can be saved from or can be controlled not to spread disinformation, misinformation, and propaganda. Just Google it and see how many conferences the United Nations, UNESCO itself has organized, because this has become a real problem. The misuse of digital media, hate speeches, xenophobia, conspiracy theories. And don't go anywhere. Don't look for Western conspiracies. Look at in your own country, look at the TV channels, look at the kind of social media politicization, and I don't call it politicization, criminalization that's taking place. We need to know. But the good news is that a lot is happening in the positive side also. I work in the area of interreligious dialogue and interfaith dialogue. I have a volume that was brought out by UNESCO to show that interreligious dialogue are happening not simply between big leaders at every walk of life. And this is also happening through the social media, through the Twitter, and a lot of Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube accounts are pursuing this positive development. No wonder that in China and Iran and North Korea, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are banned. I'm not a great admirer of their potential, simply an argument that good things are also happening. So very quickly, let me say in 2021, Stockholm, we had a major conference having all the global stakeholders, and they recommended that peace building practitioner should systematize the use of social media technology for conflict stakeholder analysis. We have to analyze who are these people who are engaging in this conflict situation. Early warning, counter messaging, and the defense of democracy and human rights. Yes. At the center, as Mr. Vice Chancellor said, we have peace is possible only when we have a truly flowing democracy and human rights. Somehow we are kind of very dismissive, very scared of using the term human rights. But no democracy, no peace is possible without democracy and human rights. And incidentally, that is the title of the UNESCO chair, which was brought so honorably by Dr. Vishwanath Karad. Human rights, democracy, and peace, not by peace alone. So citizens should improve their resilience to disinformation and also, as an active citizen, interrogate what is happening. And as I said, I encourage people across the faculties to look at the role of media as stakeholder analysis. The reverse thing can be done. Social media and new media can be used to provide early warning. You can say that the violence is going to take place in this particular site where inter-community tensions are high. And then we can also do the counter messaging. We also have this very good tradition of questioning the fake news all over the world. Questioning the fake news. We can do that in small groups, and that will be one contribution. Lastly, as I reach my last 3 minutes, let me say lots is possible, lots is happening. The UNESCO, wherein I work, and I work very actively, and UNAOC jointly launched the first international university network on media and information literacy and intercultural dialogue. Keyword, media literacy. Second word, intercultural dialogue. And they brought them together to say that we need to be literate, media literate. We need to make a distinction between what is a good news, what is a fake news, and understand why is it that the bad news or the sensationalized news takes over the peace-building news at all. This global network is available to one and all, especially to young mind to join, and to contribute our time on this planet Earth as a global citizen. Yes, we are in Maharashtra, we are in MIT, that's an identity, but we also have a global identity. One of the strong recommendations of UNESCO, and also this time by the NEP, is on global citizenship education. Very soon, I think we will have that as a part of our compulsory curricula. You are all global citizens also. You have responsibility. You have responsibility towards the pursuance of 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And at the end, there is a question. Please understand, why is it that media is not well disposed to carry the news of peace building? The war correspondent has no equivalent peace correspondent. An extensive analysis of media and war finds no comparative interest between the media and peace. Why? Now, this was tried to be answered in many ways, but if eminent philosopher, if you don't mind, I can quote him. Bourdieu calls this as a journalistic field. The convention of news culture, which determined what Bourdieu calls the journalistic field, indicate a preoccupation with values that tend to sensationalize political life and reduce it to a series of personalized conflicts. Read this, Bourdieu on journalistic field. The emphasis on drama and emotive win-loss situation has contributed to trivialization of political life, and by focusing on the interest of few rather than many. So there is also a very good analysis available that why is it we prefer. You talk to the media people, the television, and they said people like it. People like to hear about violence, sensational news. But who created this taste? Why is it that people find peace as boring? Sometimes in my own work, I have found students saying, sir, peace is boring. Violence, conflict, tanks, they are more attractive. But this taste has been developed very creatively, and this kind of news production is what we have to, engage against. So lot is happening, lots to share. My best wishes, especially to the young minds, make a difference between information and knowledge. You are being misinformed, disinformed, and unfortunately, all of us sitting here in different degrees are victim of this kind of disinformation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Priyankar Upadhyay, sir. And very rightly said, sir. Unfortunately, but it's a fact that peace, people find, or youngsters especially find peace boring. But let me share with you, sir, and everyone in the audience that I had an experience that peace is enjoyable, or peace is really adored by the people, those who have seen violence. I have few students in my class from Afghanistan, and they tell me, and they tell their friends, Indian friends here, that you don't understand the value of peace. You come, you see what is going on, and then you'll understand the value of peace. Unfortunately, I think that's the way to create the value for peace, but I don't see that's the right way of doing it. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your thoughts. Thank you very much for the knowledge that you shared. A round of applause once again for Priyankar Upadhyay, sir. It is really important that we understand the thoughts, understand the future from the mentors, those who are sitting on the stage. And it is important that we keenly listen to their words of wisdom, because someone of you somewhere would pick up some words, some statement from their speeches, and it might turn out to be the statement of your life and your objective. So you never know. So keep listening very, very carefully. And one such tall mentor, revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karat sir, is also looking at us, listening to everything that is happening here. May I request my technical team, if they can. Yes, sir is here, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your presence. And of course, in some time from now, we would be listening to your views also. And we all call revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karat sir as Prernalay, because his every single word, every single action keeps motivating us, keeps showing us the path forward. It's now time when I invite the next special guest of honor to address the gathering, Professor K.G. Sureshji. But before I invite him, I request my technical team to kindly relay a small film made on life and work of Professor K.G. Sureshji.
Professor K.G. Suresh is a New Delhi-based senior journalist, columnist, and communication specialist. He is currently serving as the Vice Chancellor of Makhanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism and Communication, Bhopal. He is also Professor Emeritus at the APJ Institute of Mass Communication, New Delhi, and Honorary Professor with APJ Satya University, India's first liberal arts university. Earlier, he has served as the Director General, Indian Institute of Mass Communication, a media training institution, Senior Consulting Editor with DD News, India's public news broadcaster, Editorial Consultant with Asia-Net News Network, Chief Political Correspondent with Press Trust of India, and Group Media Advisor to Dalmia Bharat Enterprises. Professor Suresh is a member of the Academic Council of the Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, Society of Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute, Kolkata, Research Committee of Indian Council of Social Science Research, Advisory Council, the Delhi School of Journalism, University of Delhi, Academic Council, Central University of Himachal Pradesh, and the School Board of Abanindranath Tagore School of Creative Arts and Communication Studies, Assam University, Silchar. He is a member of the Awards Selection Committee of the National Council for Science and Technology. We warmly welcome Professor K.G. Suresh.
Please put your hands together and welcome with a round of applause Professor Dr. K.G. Suresh ji.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gautam. The very revered Professor Vishwanath Karat sir, Dr. Rahul Karat, my friend, Professor Chitnis, who is also the Vice Chancellor of this university, Dr. K. Girishan. We just had the opportunity to hear Professor Priyankar Upadhyay, my colleague, former colleague, Shri Mukesh Sharma with Doordarshan. Again, Reema Parashar, a very dear friend. She is here. Very well-known journalist, Satyaprakash Nayak ji, Mr. Dheeraj, and all, I see a lot of my friends here in the crowd, also my former colleagues, Chandan Iyer and Pratibha ji, and great to see all of you. Greetings from Asia's first and India's largest media university, the Makhanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism and Communication. I often say that, because there is a paucity of time, I often say that, history can be divided into two parts. We generally divide into two parts, BC and AD, before Christ and Anno Domini. But media, you divide into two parts, that's BG and AG, before Google and after Google. We belong to the before Google generation. Okay, we were used to writing down things with our hand, typing it out, using the teleprinter. The computers came later, the pagers came later, the Motorola two-way sets came later, smartphones much later. So we have migrated, we are the digital migrants, and most of you are the digital natives, my dear students who are present here. And since we belong to that generation, we need to remind here that one of the reasons for media being held responsible for the growing conflict is that we used to be not just peacemakers, but we used to be peace brokers. Once upon a time, as was mentioned here. I still remember whenever any disturbance used to happen in the old walled city of Delhi, any communal disturbance, the first thing that we used to do was to call up the religious leaders of different communities and make them issue a statement calling for peace and restraint. Those were the golden days of journalism, when the first priority was not reporting on which communities are responsible, who is responsible. Instead of getting into that post-mortem, our first priority used to be to establish peace and normalcy. That is the journalism that we practiced. I think it is important for journalism. There is no need for anything special to do. We just need to follow the golden principles of journalism. And that includes, let's go back to ground reporting. We have stopped doing that. We are now indulging in desktop journalism. We are not practicing ground reporting. I've been a hardcore field journalist, having reported in Kashmir, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in Nepal, in South Africa. And I can tell you that when you go to the ground, the realities are totally different from what you do in sitting in your air-conditioned, newsrooms. So it's very important for journalism to go back to the ground, to go back to the principles of accuracy and objectivity, which will take care of many of the current problems. So we need to go back to our roots. Peace. And what a lovely place to discuss this. Our understanding of peace is very superficial. We generally look at peace as some kind of a separate entity altogether. Peace is not an island. Peace is mainland. Peace is not a side stream. Peace is mainstream. You cannot have peace if the cars around you are honking. You cannot have peace. You cannot have peace when you have noise pollution and voice pollution and air pollution. You cannot. You cannot look at peace in isolation. We have been looking at peace in isolation. Peace cannot be looked at in piecemeal. You cannot have a piecemeal approach to peace. You need to look at peace holistically. You cannot have islands of prosperity in an ocean of poverty and expect peace. No, it doesn't happen like that. You need to understand that. You know, whether it is South Africa or Sri Lanka, there is always a process of truth and reconciliation. No doubt that we in this country have for centuries been talking about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, whereas even in the age of internet, the maximum that the West could reach was the global village. We were talking about the entire universe, not just every human being, but the trees, the rivers, the mountains, everything is part of one universe. The entire as one family. We belong to that tradition. But somewhere there was a huge interruption. We need to understand that we cannot be in denial of our history, of our traditions. The problem is that we have adopted the Western model blindly. We are adopting Western terminology blindly without understanding its relevance locally. We need to understand that we have a centuries of conflict. It's a reality. Why are we trying to shy away from it? Let us accept it. There was a clash. Unless we accept that, you cannot go forward. Without accepting your past, you cannot be prepared for the future. We are on very shaky wicket because we are not accepting our past. You know, Swami Vivekananda, when he talked about at the Universal, the World Parliament of Religions in 1893 in Chicago, he talked about the need for not tolerating each other. What is the word that we use in this country? I'm sorry, the media uses, is religious tolerance. Imagine you telling your friend, I am tolerating you. मैं तुम्हें बर्दाश्त कर रहा हूं. Is it a positive term? It's not a positive term. You cannot be tolerating one another. This is a wrong concept. We just blindly adopted it. We need to accept each other, not tolerate each other. We need to accept that there are ideologies, there are religious differences, and we are all uniquely different in our own way. There cannot be one path alone to go God. There cannot be only one savior. There cannot alone be one book. All paths lead to the same God, like all rivers lead to the same ocean. We need to accept this, and that is all about acceptance. And not only accept, but we need to celebrate this diversity. That we are all different yet one as human beings. That is something that we need to accept. Friends, I'll just quickly cover a couple of points since, there is a time limit. I think that it's very important that we need to have we should look at world through our own prism. This is the defect in the global information order. We are looking at the world through a Western prism. Till recently, we used to describe West Asia as Middle East, which is not Middle East for us, it is West Asia. But we used to describe it as Middle East because the BBC would call it Middle East, because the AP would call it Middle East, because the Reuters would call it Middle East. It's not Middle East for us, it is West Asia. But we look at the world the way the West looks at it. I still remember the way Saddam Hussein, a great friend of India, was always described as a tyrant. He might have had political problems, including the problems of Kurds and other, the Kurdistan issue and other things were there, the domestic problems he faced. But to India, he was a great friend. When the entire OIC used to back our friendly neighbor, he was one who stood by India. Yet, we blindly aped the West and projected him as a tyrant in our media. Because we have our own prism, our own angle of looking at the globe. Because we are entirely dependent. It's very important that the South, the developing South, the Asian countries, the African countries, have their own information system. We should look at the world. France has France 24. Russia has Russia Today. England has BBC. America has CNN. And what do we have? We pride ourselves in our democracy, in our media, but we don't have a global platform to look at the world and to tell the world what India, one of the most powerful emerging economies of the world, has to say on a particular issue. How do we then enunciate peace? How do we then advocate peace if we don't have a stand of our own when we look at the global issues? So that is also very important. Friends, as I said, that, last point, so many things to say. It's also about reporting the positive things in society. There is a concept called solutions journalism. The narrative so far has been problem-centric. We need to look at the globe from a solution-based point of view. We have been talking for the last 75 years about all the problems under the sun. But it's time we start looking at solutions. And we did it. It's not mere talk. When I was heading Doordarshan News, we started a program called Good News India. We used to highlight about the good initiatives taken by the ordinary citizens to make the world a better place to live. And thanks to that concept which caught on, today you have a Good News Today television channel also. You need to talk about the positive things in society, only then that can create positive vibrations. You cannot be talking about all the time about atrocities, torture. You need to talk about them also. But you cannot be all the time talking about conflict. Then you cannot develop a culture of peace. A culture of peace can be developed only when you make peace desirable. When you make peace, people feel that yes, this is the result, the fruit of peace. You need to talk about peace also. Friends, I know time is running out. I wish to thank once again the organizers. I have been earlier in Kothurud campus also for the National Teachers Congress. It's always a pleasure to be back at MIT. I congratulate the organizers for organizing this. I was thankfully part of the jury this year also. And I'm really proud that we selected some really fine journalists who are doing a wonderful job. If you read their pieces, particularly the journalism students, you would realize that yes, peace cannot be seen in isolation. Peace is about development. Peace is about positivity. Peace is about, not having conflicts, not looking at everything negatively. As future journalists, I would urge you not to just look at the TRPs, not just to look at, getting eyeballs at any cost. You need to use the Gandhian talisman. Gandhiji always said that whenever you do something, your benchmark should be, how is it going to benefit the man, the person standing in the last line? Is it going to benefit him or is it going to impact him negatively? Then you take a call. Congratulations once again. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And big round of applause to Professor K.G. Sureshji. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your words of wisdom. And as you rightly said, peace is not just absence of conflict, but the path of progress. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Now it's time when I invite the next special guest of honor, Madam Reema Parasarji, to address the gathering. But before I invite her to address the gathering, I request my technical team to kindly relay a small film made on Madam Reema Parasarji.
Srimati Reema Parashar is a prominent Hindi television journalist of India. She is currently working with Aaj Tak as an associate editor. Apart from being a television journalist and anchor, she is also an erudite writer and her posts on various issues are widely appreciated. She has a deep knowledge of Indian politics and her political assessment generally comes true. She was born and brought up in New Delhi. She studied from Delhi University and had thought about becoming an IAS officer. However, later she deserted the idea of preparing for UPSC civil services and decided to focus on journalism. Her love for writing compelled her to go for this field. She joined Aaj Tak as a desk reporter. Steadily and strongly, she rose to the level of an associate editor. She has also keen interest in covering election rallies and reporting from the ground. Her probing analysis about political equations in any seats is followed by political pundits. We warmly welcome Srimati Reema Parashar.
Please put your hands together and welcome with a big round of applause, Madam Reema Parasarji.
थैंक यू सो मच इतनी अच्छी वीडियो बनाने के लिए और ऐसी पिक्चर्स निकालने के लिए जो मुझे भी नहीं पता था कि कहाँ से मिल गई आप लोगों को. थैंक यू सो मच. बहुत अच्छा काम स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पर कर रहे हैं. डिग्निटरीज सभी को मैं नाम से पुकारूं लेकिन सभी का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया यहाँ पर मुझे बुलाने के लिए भी और हौसला अफजाई के लिए. क्योंकि जैसा अभी केजी सुरेश जी ने जिस पॉइंट पर अपनी बात खत्म की मैं उसी से शुरू करना चाहूँगी. उन्होंने पीस, क्योंकि हमारा आज का जो यहाँ पर बात की गई है, पीस इज़ इंजॉयबल, अभी उन्होंने बताया पीस इज़ बोरिंग. और मैंने जब दूरदर्शन न्यूज़ ज्वाइन किया उससे पहले लगभग 24 साल का जो मेरा अनुभव था वो प्राइवेट चैनल्स में था. तो पीस की बात मैं इसलिए यहाँ से शुरू करना चाहती हूँ कि दूरदर्शन के साथ, क्योंकि आप सभी स्टूडेंट्स वो स्टूडेंट्स हैं जो बहुत सारे लोग एंकर्स बनना चाहते होंगे, यहाँ पर रिपोर्टिंग में आना चाहते होंगे और सोशल मीडिया. तो फेक न्यूज़ जिसका सबसे ज़्यादा जिक्र यहाँ पर किया जा रहा है, पेड मीडिया और फेक न्यूज़. दूरदर्शन जब मैंने ज्वाइन किया तो मुझे कई लोगों ने डिस्करेज किया कि आजकल दूरदर्शन कौन देखेगा, आप आज तक जैसे चैनल को छोड़कर दूरदर्शन में जाना चाह रही हैं, टीआरपी कुछ ज़्यादा नहीं है, तो आप एक बार सोच लो अपने डिसीज़न को. तो मैंने कहा गिव इट अ ट्राई, एक बार देखते हैं. यहाँ पर जब मैं पहुँची तो मुझे लगा कि 24 साल में उसका पूरा अनुभव अलग अलग प्राइवेट चैनल्स का और दूरदर्शन का, अभी मुझे यहाँ 1.5 साल हुआ है, 1.5 साल का अनुभव एकदम डिफरेंट था. और इसको मैं आप लोगों को बताना चाहूँगी क्योंकि जो एक परसेप्शन मीडिया को लेकर बनता है उसमें सरकारी और प्राइवेट के बीच का जो अंतर है उसको समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है. क्योंकि विश्वसनीयता की बात होती है और इसीलिए फेक न्यूज़ की जब बात होती है, प्राइवेट चैनल्स पर जब कोई भी एक खबर गलत चल जाती है, कुछ शब्द गलत चल जाते हैं तो उस पर लोग ध्यान देते हैं लेकिन दिमाग से निकल जाता है। लेकिन अगर आप किसी पब्लिक ब्रॉडकास्टर के साथ हैं, और इसीलिए जब रॉयटर्स का सर्वे होता है या CSDS का सर्वे होता है तो कहा जाता है कि दूरदर्शन को अभी भी देश में सबसे ज़्यादा अगर विश्वसनीय चैनल माना जाता है तो उसकी ये वजह है। फेक न्यूज़ की अभी 2 सबसे अहम बातें दिखाई दी। उसमें आपने देखा कि एक वायर को लेकर जिस तरह की खबर थी, आप सभी ने पढ़ा होगा सोशल मीडिया पर जो चीज़ें दिखाई दी। तो आप लोग जो जर्नलिज्म के स्टूडेंट्स हैं और हमने भी लगातार इतने समय में जो देखा, पहले में और अब में फेक न्यूज़ में क्या अंतर आया है। पहले अगर आपके सोर्सेज के साथ आप बैठे हो और कोई खबर आपको गलत मिल जाती थी तो कई बार आपकी नौकरी भी चली जाती थी, लेकिन आज आप देखते हो क्योंकि सारा कुछ जो है वो आपके इस मोबाइल का हिस्सा बन गया है। फेक न्यूज़ इस पर आती है और फेक न्यूज़ मीडिया को लेकर जिस तरह से आती है, आधे से ज़्यादा लोग उस पर विश्वास कर लेते हैं। इसका एक एग्जाम्पल जो हाल ही में घटित हुआ वो मैं आपसे शेयर करना चाहूँगी। दूरदर्शन को लेकर अभी तक कई सारी चीज़ें होती थी। हमें लगता था कि एक सिर्फ प्रधानमंत्री को दिखाना या सरकार का एक तरीके से कहा जाता था सिर्फ उनका एजेंडा चलाना ही काम होता है किसी भी सरकारी मीडियम का। यही पब्लिक परसेप्शन हमारे परिवारों में और सब जगह जाकर बनाया जाता है। जब मैं यहाँ पर आई मुझे एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री बनानी थी और उस डॉक्यूमेंट्री में मुझे कुछ प्रधानमंत्री के कुछ विजुअल्स का इस्तेमाल करना था पुराने, जब वो मुख्यमंत्री थे गुजरात के। और जब मैंने अपना पूरा लाइब्रेरी छानी तो मुझे पता लगा कि उनके पुराने कोई विजुअल्स यहाँ पर मौजूद नहीं है। तो मैंने जानना चाहा कि इसके पीछे वजह क्या है। तो पता लगा कि 2014 से पहले, जब तक वो प्रधानमंत्री नहीं बने थे, उससे पहले वो बैन थे चैनल पर। उनके कोई विजुअल्स नहीं होते थे, उनकी कोई फुटेज नहीं रखी जाती थी, इसलिए पुरानी उनकी कोई फुटेज यहाँ पर नहीं मिलेगी। तो मैं ये एग्जाम्पल आपको इसलिए दे रही हूँ कि एक जो इमेज बनाई जाती है मीडिया को लेकर, उसके पीछे जाने की ज़रूरत है, उसको देखने की ज़रूरत है। क्योंकि अगर सोशल मीडिया पर कोई एक वायरल वीडियो आप देखते हैं, क्योंकि मीडिया पर सबसे ज़्यादा आजकल सवाल खड़े हो रहे हैं और एक दिखाया जाता है, एक डिवीजन खड़ा हो गया है जर्नलिस्ट के बीच में कि कौन किस तरफ खड़े हैं, ये लोग इस तरफ खड़े हैं। इसके पीछे की वजह यह है, अगर आप जानने की कोशिश करें, उसकी तह तक जाने की, कि अगर आपने किसी नेता को बैन किया हुआ है, उसकी फुटेज नहीं है, तो आप किसको दिखाओगे? जो सत्ता में है आप उसी को दिखाओगे। और आज अगर एक शो चलता है दूरदर्शन पर जिसमें हम सभी पार्टियों को बुलाते हैं, उससे पहले कभी ऐसा नहीं होता था। तो पब्लिक जो देख रही है चैनल पर वो उसी को सच मान रही है, लेकिन उसके पीछे की जो स्टोरी है उस तक जाना और उसको दिखाना मुझे लगता है आप सभी का फ़र्ज़ होना चाहिए। और एज अ जर्नलिस्ट हमारा फ़र्ज़ होना चाहिए कि हम कम से कम पता करें कि विश्वसनीयता कितनी है इस खबर के पीछे। और इसीलिए हम लोगों को किताबों में, जब मैंने जर्नलिज्म किया था तो ये पढ़ाया जाता था कि कुत्ता अगर इंसान को काटता है वो खबर नहीं होती है, लेकिन आज अगर कुत्ता इंसान को काटता है तो वो भी खबर है। और उसकी वजह यह है कि आपके हाथ में वीडियो बनाने की क्षमता है, आपने उसका वीडियो बनाया और उसको लेकर इतना बड़ा आंदोलन चल गया और उस पर सरकार को भी रिएक्शन देना पड़ा। तो किस टूल का आप किस तरह से इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं आज की डेट में, वो एक अहम बात है जिसको लेकर मैं चाहूँगी कि सभी लोग, सभी स्टूडेंट्स जो आगे बढ़ रहे हैं उसको देखें। दूसरी बात जो यहाँ पर केजी सुरेश जी ने अभी कही, क्योंकि बहुत समय तक हम लोग साथ में फील्ड में थे तो हमने वो प्री गूगल वाला समय जिसकी उन्होंने बात की, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि प्री गूगल का जो समय था वो चैलेंजिंग ज़्यादा था। और जिस वक्त हम लोग मीडिया में आए उस वक्त प्रिंट में भी बहुत गिने चुने लोग थे और टीवी में तो बहुत ही कम चैनल्स थे, पूरा 24/7 चैनल था ही नहीं। इसलिए नेताओं के साथ या फील्ड में रहना और खबर निकालना बहुत टफ भी था, क्योंकि आपको बहुत मशक्क़त करनी पड़ती थी। अब जब चैनल्स इतने सारे हो गए हैं, चैनल्स के बीच में कंपटीशन बहुत ज़्यादा है, तो फिर आपके जो सोर्सेज हैं वो भी कम होते जाते हैं, क्योंकि सबको लगता है अच्छा आज तक को नहीं देना है खबर, एबीपी को दे देते हैं, जी न्यूज़ है, इतने सारे चैनल्स हैं। तो उसमें जो कंपटीशन है वो बढ़ने की वजह से एक चैलेंज जो है वो दूसरे तरीके से हो गया है। लेकिन मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अभी का जो समय है वो समय प्री गूगल और पोस्ट गूगल के अलावा, अगर मैं टीवी की बात करूं तो पहले रिपोर्टर ड्रिवन चैनल हुआ करते थे और अब अगर हम देखते हैं तो एंकर ड्रिवन चैनल है। और मैं एक एग्जांपल आपको अपना ही इसमें देना चाहूँगी कि पहले जब हम रिपोर्टिंग करते थे तो नेताओं के साथ हम जब बात करते थे तो वो बताते थे कि अच्छा ये आपका एंकर जो है इसको कुछ अकल नहीं है, ये लगता है आप ही से पूछ के सवाल लिखते हैं कि क्या हो रहा है और फिर हमसे पूछते हैं। लेकिन आज वही नेता बात करते हैं कि किस एंकर के शो में मुझे जाना है और किस एंकर से बात करनी है। तो रिपोर्टर्स का जो एक महत्व है उस तरह से अगर देखा जाए तो वो कम हुआ। लेकिन मैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस से आप सबको बताना चाहूँगी, क्योंकि आज मेरी बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स से यहाँ पर अभी चाय पर बात हो रही थी सुबह, ज़्यादातर सभी लोग एंकर बनना चाहते हैं। मैं आपको सिर्फ ये सलाह दूंगी कि एंकर आप बने, बहुत अच्छी बात है, सभी लोग ग्लैमर में जाना चाहते हैं, टीवी पर आना चाहते हैं और टीवी में आने के पीछे मंशा भी यही होती है कि हम दिखें सबसे ज़्यादा। लेकिन उसके बावजूद अगर आप रिपोर्टर नहीं बन पाएंगे, अच्छे फील्ड में जाकर नहीं समझ पाएंगे कि असली रिपोर्टिंग क्या है, खबर कैसे निकाली जाती है, सच्चाई क्या होती है और उसके लिए कितनी मेहनत करनी पड़ती है एक एक खबर को वेरीफाई करने के लिए, एक एक खबर पर जाने के लिए, तो आप अच्छे एंकर भी मुझे नहीं लगता कि बन पाएंगे। तो इसलिए आज जब आप बड़े बड़े जितने भी एंकर्स को देखते हैं, कुछ लोग किसी के फ़ैन होंगे यहाँ पर, कुछ स्टूडेंट्स किसी के फ़ैन होंगे, लेकिन उन सबको भी आज जब कोई बड़ी खबर होती है तो फील्ड में ही जाना पड़ता है और ये ट्रेंड चेंज हुआ है अब। और इसीलिए अब जब आप देखते हैं कि अगर पटना में सरकार बन रही है तब भी स्टूडियो से निकलकर एंकर जा रहा है, अगर कोई आंदोलन चल रहा है, अन्ना हजारे का जो आंदोलन हुआ उस दौरान सभी बड़े एंकर्स फील्ड में दिखाई दिए, धूप में उनको जा कर के काम करना पड़ा। तो ये तमाम चीज़ें ऐसी हैं जिसमें ग्लैमर के पीछे ना जाकर आपको वेरिफिकेशन और वेरीफाई करना खबर को, और तभी आप स्टूडियो में बैठकर सवाल भी पूछ सकते हैं नेताओं से या किसी से भी, और तभी आप एक अच्छे पत्रकार बन सकते हैं, ऐसा मुझे लगता है। दूसरी बात यहाँ पर, क्योंकि पीस की बात लगातार हो रही है, तो पीस क्या है? जिस शो को सबसे ज़्यादा टीआरपी मिलती रही काफ़ी समय तक, उसका भी ट्रेंड चेंज हुआ है। अब टीआरपी के पीछे अभी तक ये माना जाता था कि 4 गेस्ट बिठाओ, उनको लड़वाओ और सबसे ज़्यादा टीआरपी उसी शो की मिलती है। लेकिन अब डीएनए को अगर टॉप 10 में गिना जाए और नंबर 1 चैनल पर वो आता है, जी से लेकर के अब आज तक में सुधीर चौधरी पहुंच गए हैं, अगर उस शो को सभी दर्शक इतना पसंद कर रहे हैं, उसमें कोई लड़ाई झगड़ा नहीं है, इसका मतलब दर्शक ये देखना चाहते हैं कि खबर के अंदर की खबर क्या है। वो भी अब ऊब चुके हैं इस चीज़ से कि लड़ाई झगड़ा करके 4 लोगों को बिठा करके आप सिर्फ सवाल जवाब करो और उसके बाद बात ख़त्म हो जाए। मेरे घर में छोटी बच्ची है, मेरा शो 5 की पंचायत एक आता है, उसमें वैसे तो डीडी न्यूज़ में ये परंपरा नहीं है कि हम लड़वाएं किसी को, लेकिन उस दिन थोड़ा सा इशू ऐसा था कि 4 गेस्ट बैठे थे, उनमें से 2 बहुत ज़्यादा चिल्ला रहे थे। तो रात को जब मैं वो टीवी पर अपना यूट्यूब पर लगाकर देख रही थी प्रोग्राम, तो वो बच्ची जो अभी 9 साल की है, उस बच्ची ने कहा कि आपको क्या मज़ा आता है ऐसे ये चिल्लाना, ये इतना चिल्ला रहे हैं लोग, इसमें क्या मज़ा आ रहा है, बंद करिए आप चैनल को। तो अगर उस बच्ची का ऐसा रिएक्शन आ रहा है तो आप ये बात खुद सोच सकते हैं कि लोग टीआरपी के लिए भले ही ये सब चीज़ें बहुत कर रहे हों, लेकिन इस सब चीज़ की एक लिमिट है, इसका एक टाइम फ्रेम है। बहुत लंबे समय तक ये जर्नलिज्म देश में नहीं चल सकता। और इसीलिए जब हम इतने सालों से इस चीज़ की पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं कि पेड न्यूज़ क्या होती है, फेक न्यूज़ क्या होती है, और वायरल वीडियोस का सच जानने के लिए, उसके पीछे तह तक जाने के लिए बहुत कोशिश करने की ज़रूरत है। तो इन सब चीज़ों में जो थियोरेटिकल चीज़ें पढ़ाई जाती हैं, जिनको हम भूल जाते हैं, हमें लगता है कि प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज ही सब कुछ है, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं वो चीज़ दिमाग में रखने की ज़रूरत है कि किस तरह से आपको जर्नलिज्म को आगे बढ़ाना है, किस तरह आपको अपना दायित्व निभाना है। और इसीलिए जो पीस, जिस शब्द का इस्तेमाल बार बार किया जा रहा है, उसकी ज़रूरत एज अ पर्सन, एज अ जर्नलिस्ट, उसको आगे बढ़ाने के लिए आप लोग क्या कर सकते हैं, ये सबसे अहम है। क्योंकि टीआरपी की रेस में अगर आप एक बार पड़ जाएंगे, और आजकल तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि चैनल्स पर न्यूज़ और एंटरटेनमेंट, इन दोनों के बीच में जो अंतर है वही ख़त्म होता जा रहा है। जो प्रोड्यूसर हैं उनको पहले से बताया जाता है कि आपको इस शो को इतनी टीआरपी पर लेकर आना है, उसके लिए आप कुछ भी करिए। तो कैची हेडलाइंस बनाना, कैची उसके स्लोगन्स देना, उसका प्रोमो बनाना ग्राफिक के साथ, ये तमाम जो ट्रेंड है ये अब बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ा है, लेकिन अगर आप कि जितने यहाँ स्टूडेंट्स बैठे हैं, मुझे नहीं लगता कि बहुत ज़्यादा प्रतिशत ऐसा होगा जो खुद भी इस तरह की डिबेट्स को, इस तरह के चैनल्स को या इस तरीके की खबरों को बहुत ज़्यादा वेरीफाई करने की कोशिश करते होंगे। उनको भी अच्छा लगता होगा, अच्छा ठीक है, वायरल वीडियो में 30 सेकंड का वीडियो किसी नेता ने अपना हल्ला मचाते हुए ट्वीट किया, उसको लाइक्स पढ़ रहे हैं, उसको रीट्वीट्स पढ़ रहे हैं, तो इसी से ही खुशी मिल जाती है। लेकिन ये जर्नलिज्म नहीं है, और मुझे लगता है कि इतने सालों में जो बदलाव हमने देखा वो धीरे धीरे और बदल रहा है, और अभी सभी लोग जागरूक हो गए हैं इन सब खबरों को मना करने में, इन सब खबरों के पीछे की तह तक जाने में। और इसीलिए जो कर्तव्य है एक जर्नलिस्ट के तौर पर वो आप लोगों को भी फॉलो करना चाहिए, क्योंकि ग्लैमर तो है, लेकिन ग्लैमर के पीछे जो मेहनत है, जो चुनौती है अपने आप को प्रूव करने की और सच्चाई सामने लाने की, उसको कभी नहीं भूलना चाहिए। मेरे ख्याल से समय की बाधा है, इसलिए मैं यहीं पर कहकर अपनी बात को ख़त्म करना चाहूँगी। आप सबको बेस्ट ऑफ लक, बहुत अच्छा आप लोग काम कर रहे हैं। और जिस तरह से अभी हमने देखा कि पहली बार कोई ऐसी चीज़ होने वाली है कि विधायकों का एक सम्मेलन, और ख़ासकर जो विश्व युवा संसद आई थिंक आप लोग करते हैं, वो मुझे लगता है कि पार्लियामेंट कवर करने से पहले आप लोगों में से बहुत सारे लोग पार्लियामेंट कवर भी करेंगे, और वहाँ की तस्वीरें भी जब आप देखते हैं कि संसद के अंदर क्या हो रहा है, उससे पहले अगर आप नेताओं से इस तरह की ट्रेनिंग और उनसे बातचीत करेंगे तो शायद आप लोगों के लिए ये एक और भी अच्छा अवसर होगा फील्ड में जाने से पहले। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया मुझे यहाँ बुलाने के लिए और इतने अच्छे विषय पर बात करने के लिए। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
Thank you very much, Madam Rima Parasarji. Thank you very much, leaving us with the thought that don't just keep looking at the glamour, try to look behind it, try to look the hardships that glamour needs. So that's an important message that we all must understand and engrave on our hearts, that hardship is the only way towards the success. Thank you very much, Madam. My friends, it's now time when I invite the creator of the Monument of World Peace, the place where we all are witnessing this valedictory session today, World Peace Dome. But before I invite revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karat sir to address the gathering, I would like to request my technical team to kindly relay a small film made on Philosopher Saint Sri Gyaneshwara World Peace Prayer Hall and World Peace Library, the World Peace Dome. Over to you, team.
इक्कीसवीं शताब्दी में मेरी भारत माता विश्व गुरु बनने की काबिलियत रखता है। इट विल बिकम अ विश्व गुरु इन द 21st सेंचुरी। उसका छोटा सा उदाहरण, छोटा सा सिंबल यहाँ बन गया है, ऐसा मेरा मानना है।
We have only two options. Either we live together or we perish together. It is in this context, this monument will stand.
We look at this magnificent dome. To me, this is not just the biggest dome in the world. To me, this is the biggest idea, the biggest message to the world.
This country has always propagated one thought, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, my dear friends. I must say that in the entire history after the independence since 1947, this is one of the unique steps towards the contribution of universal humanity. I appeal to the Vice President and Honorable Chief Minister to recognize this World Peace Dome as a structure of national and global importance and support to promote it in such a way that it evolves as one of the prominent tourism destinations of the world.
We should remember and respect like Professor Vishwanath Karat and millions of people like that. and remember the great service they have done. They should be remembered forever. That is also equally important for all of us. This is the message of this dome. This is the idea of the dome. This is the tallest, not only in size, but also in ideas.
Thank you very much for that film. And let's put our hands together and welcome with a big round of applause, my friends, the UNESCO chair holder, revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath D. Karat, sir.
My learned friends present for this unique conference on the very important subject like the role of media and journalism, I feel highly enriched and educated after listening to the words of wisdom spoken by all my friends, Priyankar Upadhyay, KG Suresh, my sister Rima Parashar, Mr. Naik, and our Vice Chancellor, Mr. Ravi Chitnis. I think it has been my passion to understand the essence and philosophy behind these very words, like the media and the press. And you know the story much better than what I have been trying to understand. Somebody said that before the Google, the Facebook, internet, and so many innovations which have taken place, which have changed the whole dimension of the universal thinking, the approach to understand the world as a very unique, universal mind is the word which is normally spoken. But when I listen to all these great speakers today, just now, I was very happy and feeling delighted that they have given a new vision possibly, not only the insight but the vision to the young generation and the invited people sitting in the audience. Friends, I can only say that I had said in the very first lecture too, that to my mind, this very approach of the media, the print, the electronic, whatever words you use, I have a very firm belief that they are equally or more powerfully a very important tool to educate the society. समाज को एक दिशा देने का दायित्व शायद हमारे प्रेस और मीडिया के ऊपर रहता है, ऐसा मुझे लगता है. And they are much more effective, as I said to you friends, than universities and colleges or the institutions which have been taking a mission of promoting the culture of peace. When we use this word peace, it really relates to the peace of mind and peace of heart. Body and the brain, I told you last time too, that any smallest of the small living being, a single cell, a living cell, has the body and the brain, and on the other side we have the soul, the spirit, and the mind. And we people in the universities, whether it is Oxford or Cambridge, as I said to you last time too, that we have been more keen to understand these mechanisms of the body and the brain. But unfortunately, I told you last time, the other aspect of this living cell or a living being The mechanism, I'm saying. I'm using the very specific word like a mechanism. The four centers of this living mechanism, which should have been taken into consideration like the soul or the spirit and the mind. I repeat again because I do not have any other understanding of the press and media in that sense. But I have a very sincere feeling as a teacher of engineering. I was listening to all these people very carefully, and I was expecting that somebody would make a mention of some great philosopher of India. थोड़ा सेल्फिश मोटिव है, जानने की कोशिश है कि इतना बड़ा देश, अभी तो समझो 130-140 करोड़ पॉपुलेशन, इतने बड़े देश में एक भी फिलोसोफर नहीं हुआ क्या भाई? The great scientist नहीं हुआ? When you take the names like Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, or many other names which were taken by some great journalists and the learned persons, I am reminded of my passion and fire in the belly to understand in the year 1995, I told you last time too, that when I had the fortune of organizing the first World Philosophers Meet, I repeat, first World Philosophers Meet, a Parliament of Science, Religion and Philosophy. I'm taking these names again and repeating the same words which were uttered by the great noble son of India, Swami Vivekananda, as said by one of my friends, Mr. Suresh, that in the year 1893, when these words were uttered in the first Parliament of World Religions, which is trying to show the pathway of harmony and peace to mankind. Promotion and marketing is different. I'm not talking about marketing the business, whether it's the press or anything else, even education, our own education system. The various universities like the World Peace University or the World ADT University or the Oxford or Cambridge, any name you take from the whole world, if they make this as a marketing aspect of their life, it loses the very essence and philosophy of that university's mission. This very conference, the fourth conference, national conference, on trying to join hands together, the educational institutions, the universities, colleges, the learned professors, teachers, who have a passion and fire to do something good for the society, promoting the global peace-loving society. Words are very beautiful, but what is the peace of mind is the question. I had the fortune last time I told you, friends, that anything that creates a disorder, in engineering there is a word called entropy. Entropy is creating disorder. If you create a disorder or disharmony in the life of any other person or any other system, any other institution, it's wrong. And education has to take care of this very aspect. कैसे भाई ये होता है? Why are you interested to create a disorder in the life of others? काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, मद, मत्सर, विकार, विकृति और विकल्प. 9 words say 9, 6 plus 3. Think of each and every word. Anything that creates a problem like this, which creates a disorder, a disturbance in life, creates possibly a feeling of sorrow and a pain and agony. Such a thing is not to be done, is possibly the purpose of education system itself. And along with all understanding the engineering mechanisms like IT or computer or digital part of it, we should understand our duty. I think somebody might have mentioned of the United Nations, I think Upadhyay made a mention about this. The United Nations is trying to establish a right to peace. I don't know whether I comment on this. Rather than right to peace, what is the duty towards peace? Promotion of peace is my personal feeling. You know the situation what United Nations has been doing today. In the corona times or the COVID-19 horrifying period of the life, of the universe of the world, when we were hiding behind the doors, all the churches, the temple, the mosque, everything was closed. And we have been having a tremendous fear of death, which nobody, even the countries like the most advanced and the richest countries of the world, like America, the Britain, the Russia, doing so much business in the Ukraine part of it, and other countries world over, they were all hiding behind. Why? When they have been trying to promote and develop this corona business, which is amounting to chemical weapons or the biological weapons. And you know, friends, that this biological weapon part of it, if it comes out in a full form, possibly it may be very difficult for all of us to sustain or to live even. And then at that time, what is my duty as a vice chancellor or a chancellor, or your duty as a press or a media person? What news you should give and what not to give the news? कैसी दिशा हो सकती है जब मैंने कहा कि मीडिया इज ऑल्सो लाइक अ मच बेटर एजुकेशनल एंड रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूशन. समाज को दिशा देने का दायित्व शायद आप लोगों पर है. मेरे सामने मैं देखता हूं कि जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, एंड आई सी सम लर्नड क्लास ऑफ पीपल सिटिंग ऑल्सो इन फ्रंट. एक सुझाव है राहुल को और हमारे सिंह साहब को कि अगले टाइम जब परिषद होगी तो सबको, इंक्लूडिंग माई सेल्फ, वी शुड नॉट बी अलाउड टू ब्रिंग अ फोन इन द कॉन्फ्रेंस. ये जो मोबाइल की बात है, मैं देखता हूं कि सारे सबके हाथों में मोबाइल है, and more of people are more busy possibly with the mobile. ये डिसिप्लिन की बात है. That to develop the sense of discipline and character is the mission for every field. My area or your area, even the media people, they are busy, I know, but some of the ethical and moral obligations is an essential feature. Blame करने में कोई मजा नहीं भाई. तेरा दायित्व क्या है? तेरा दायित्व माता पिता के प्रति हो, घर के प्रति हो, फैमिली के प्रति हो. Do you know, friends, and I don't want to blame anybody, but the family system is possibly tending toward the ruin. The concept of family system itself and family unit with a peaceful and a pleasurous, happy mood or tone is the essential feature. What is the duty to us? बड़ी बात है, लंबी बात है, यूनिवर्सल की बात है, ब्रह्मांड की बात है. मैं और तुम कौन हो भाई? हमारे बच्चे हो, हमारे घर में माता पिता हो, पति पत्नी हो. इसमें एक कोहेसिव नेचर होना, अंडरस्टैंड करना, एक दूसरों के लिए प्यार से, बड़ी जीवन की एक साधना से एक दूसरों को सुखी करने की बात सुख, समाधान और शांति बोला जाता है. And Vivekananda had said that time that in this century, our India, again, गर्व से नहीं, बड़ी मन की ये जो बात मैं बोल रहा हूँ आपको, मन के साथ दिल भी जोड़ा है, ध्यान में रखो. मन और दिल, फर्क है क्या? क्या फर्क है समझने की कोशिश तो करो. मैंने कल बोला कि अध्यात्म शास्त्र, the spiritual component of life, is very, very essential to bring and make our heart and mind to experience the peace, to develop the holistic peace-loving society. ऐसी बातों का थोड़ा सा जिक्र मेरे मन में आता है. But I feel that since morning I have been trying to listen to all the words of wisdom of all these great men and looking to the students community and the audience with great enthusiasm to understand our responsibility, our duty, and duty toward the mother, the father, the family, the society, the nation, and the whole world. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I said to you one more word yesterday. Remember, the entire universe is a manifestation of pure intelligence and consciousness. MIT World Peace University and the university has been very fortunate that we have established the MIT School of Consciousness and Reality the ultimate reality. Two words are being used. And these words were made and stated by Sant Dhaneshwara. I repeat, philosopher Sant Dhaneshwara. For the first time, this was the university in the year 1995, assertively stated the whole world. Call them as the philosophers Sant Dhaneshwara or philosophers Sant Tukaram or any other names, Vivekananda, everybody. They have been the greatest philosophers of the whole world and who have shown the wonderful words of scientific, logical and philosophical essence to the whole world community to make the world more peaceful and more cohesive, harmonious, blend and a knowledge out of the whole world. And that has been the mission, and ultimately promoting peace has all these aspects as a foundation, a spiritual foundation of the universal status of the entire world. That has been the final pathway and the mission. I say thank you so much, Rahul, his team, Vice Chancellor and Mr. Bapat too. Thank you so much. Thank you to all my friends. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your words of wisdom. And I think this is the most appropriate note where we can mark this moment in history through a beautiful photograph. I would like to request everyone on the dais to please, if they can hold the brochure of 4th NCMJ. I request my team, please come forward. Hold it in your hands. No, that is WPU. Please come forward and join us for the beautiful photograph on the occasion of 4th NCMJ, the galaxy of speakers present here. Let's give all of them a big round of applause, my friends. Thank you very much, all dignitaries, for joining us for this photograph. And now it's time when I invite the chief guest of this session, Shri Satya Prakash Nayak ji, to address the gathering. But before that, I would like to request my technical team to kindly relay a small film made on life and work of Shri Satya Prakash Nayak ji.
Shri Satya Prakash Nayak is a well-known journalist based out of Bhubaneswar, the capital city of the state of Odisha. He has worked at several news networks organizations in his career, including the IBN 7, Times Now, NewsX, Z News, News 18, OTV and ETV. He has worked with a number of news dailies including the Asian Age, the Sun Times, the Sambaad, the Samay and the Dharitri. Shri Satya Prakash Nayak is an alumnus of Utkal University and Mudra Institute of Communications, Ahmedabad. He was editor of a number of leading news channels, daily newspaper and periodicals. He was editor of News 18, Odia, Z Kalinga, Kanak News, The Samay and India First. Shri Satya Prakash Nayak also hosted the popular primetime show Satya Rasamna on Z Kalinga, News Hour on the Kanak News and prime time at 8 p.m. on News 18. He is considered one of the top investigative journalists of Odisha. He has exposed the infamous mining scam of Odisha, the Ponzi scam, the paddy scam, the land scam of the urban department. The recent one is the COVID procurement scam. At present, he is the editor of a digital news network, the satyapatha.com. We warmly welcome Shri Satya Prakash Nayak.
Please put your hands together and welcome with a big round of applause the chief guest of this session, Shri Satya Prakash Nayak ji.
Thank you, Dr. Gautam ji. And thank you, MIT School of Journalism and Mass Communication, who have produced this beautiful showreel about me. Distinguished guests on the dais, Professor K.G. Suresh ji, Professor Priyankar Upadhyay ji, Rima Parasar ji, Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Chitnis ji, and the one who actually started this or inaugurated this session, Dr. K. Girishan ji, students of the MIT University, faculties, and friends. First of all, I would like to thank and congratulate MIT for coining this topic. When I first found this or got to know about the topic of the session, that the role of media in promoting the culture of peace. The word culture of peace. So that coining that word, I would like to thank, because now we have got 2020 media, we have got social media, nationalist media, government media, private media, digital media, urban media, rural media, so many media. And now we would like to talk about that we need peace. So somewhere during our course, so we have lost the essence or our purpose, that is peace. तो इसलिए मैं पहले धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं MIT को, जो इन्होंने इस वर्ड को कॉइन किया. बिकॉज इसके साथ मैं विश्वनाथ जी का भी धन्यवाद देता हूं कि जिन्होंने ये पूरा पीस शब्द को इनमें लाया, कि वेरी एसेंस ऑफ एवरीथिंग, बी इट टेक्नोलॉजी, बी इट इंजीनियरिंग, बी इट जर्नलिज्म, बी इट सोशियोलॉजी, बी इट इकोनॉमी, द एसेंस इज पीस. तो इससे पहले कि मेरे पहले जो स्पीकर्स दे हैव इन डेप्थ इसके बारे में बोल चुके हैं. तो बाकी जितने सारे स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ हैं, मैं इनको इस पीस के बारे में और इसके बारे में ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं बोलूँगा. आप लोग ये सोचते होंगे कि हाउ टू रिलेट, यू मस्ट बी वॉन्डरिंग हाउ टू रिलेट विथ पीस. ये कैसे हम रिलेट करेंगे पीस के साथ? हम तो पढ़ाई पढ़ रहे हैं, हमको सुबह चाहिए कितना आई बॉल्स, कितना लाइक्स, कितना व्यू, कितना व्यूअरशिप हमको मिला. तो ये पीस को लेके कहाँ हम रिलेट करेंगे? जैसा कि है ना वो शंकराचार्य की मोह मुद्गर जो भजोगोविंद कि बालस्तावत क्रीड़ा सक्त, तरुणस्तावत तरुणी सक्त, इसके बीच वृद्धस्तावत रोगी न सकता, इसके बीच परसे ब्रह्म न कोपी न सकता. ये इसका मतलब ये है कि जब बच्चा था खेलने में मजा आ रहा था, खेला, जब लड़का हुआ तो इसमें प्रेम के प्रति आग्रह हुआ, जब बुढ़ापा आ गया तो उसमें मुझे रोग हुआ, मतलब डिजीज हुआ. इस पूरे बीच आई फॉरगॉट टू रिलेट टू द गॉड. इसके ईश्वर के प्रति मैंने भूल गया मेरा कर्तव्य क्या. वैसे ही आप लोग सोचते होंगे कि इच पीस जो है ये क्या अप मार्केट है? इज इट ए स्मार्ट थिंग? मेरा करियर में कैसे इसको डालूंगा मैं? आई एम ए जर्नलिस्ट, मैं जो भी कुछ बोलूंगा आपको इस सिलसिले में जो मैंने अपने ही करियर के साथ देखा वही मैं बोलूंगा. अनेक सोचते होंगे कि इसको लेके हम कहां यूज करेंगे. रिपोर्टिंग जिस तरह से हो रहा है, जिस तरह से मीडिया ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हमसे जो उम्मीद कर रहा है, आप लोग कैसे जाएंगे? इस तरह इतना हॉट चीज नहीं है. पीस के साथ हम जो सोचते हैं कि ये थोड़ा डाउन मार्केट है, ये थोड़ा स्पिरिचुअल आदमी वाले बात करेंगे, थोड़ा बुजुर्ग जो रिटायर्ड हो रहे हैं ये लोग बात करेंगे. इट्स नॉट फॉर अस, इजंट इट? यही तो है. विश्वास कीजिए, मुझे अगर आज के दिन में किसी एक भारतीय सबसे अच्छा ऑल टाइम हॉट लगता है, एक आदमी सबसे स्मार्ट हॉट लगता है, और बोलिए कौन हो सकता है वो आदमी? वो वही आदमी है करीब 100 साल पहले जिन्होंने अपना 3 पीस सूट को निकाल दिया और एक धोती पहन के भारत में आ गया. नो वन इज एज हॉट एज मोहनदास करमचंद गांधी, आई टेल यू. जब उनकी मैं वीडियो देखता हूं, पुरानी फोटोग्राफ देखता हूं, जब वो सेकेंड राउंड टेबल बैठक, मतलब वो मीटिंग के लिए लंदन जाते हैं, वो फिर जिस तरह से वहां की जर्नलिस्ट उनके आजू बाजू घूमते और सवाल पूछते हैं, और अपने कंबल धोती के साथ जो स्मार्ट आंसर देते हैं, इससे हॉटेस्ट आदमी इंडिया में कोई नहीं हो सकता. इसलिए कहता हूं वही आदमी जिन्होंने पीस के आधार पर इस देश को आगे बढ़ाना चाहा, वो पूरा फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल को आगे लिया, वो वही आदमी है. जिन लोगों ने मैन ऑफ द मिलेनियम के लिए सारे दुनिया की लीडर्स की चुनने को प्रयास किया, जिनमें से यूरोप के, अमेरिका के, अफ्रीका के, एशिया के बहुत 3 पीस वाले लीडर्स थे। बहुत अच्छे अंग्रेजी, बहुत अच्छे बड़े बड़े यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ने वाले और पैसे वाले लीडर्स थे और पावरफुल नेशन के लीडर थे। लेकिन दुनिया भर में किसको चुना मैन ऑफ द मिलेनियम? वो है मोहनदास गांधी। क्यों? जिन्होंने पीस और सेक्रीफाइस को बड़ी अच्छी तरीके से अपने काम में, प्रोफेशन में घुसाया। तो इसलिए मैं कहता हूं, जितने सारे मेरे यहां जर्नलिस्ट के यंग स्टूडेंट्स हैं, मैं आज भी कहता हूं, जो पीस की जर्नलिज्म जैसा हॉट और स्मार्ट जर्नलिज्म नहीं हो सकता। मुझे लिख के मुझसे ले लीजिए, जिसको मैं अपनी जीवन पे लगाया हूं। जो हम पीस के बारे में बात करते हैं, हमको लगता है कि शायद ये वॉर के साथ जुड़ा हुआ है, ये युद्ध के साथ जुड़ा हुआ एक टर्म है, ये आम जिंदगी के साथ नहीं है। हम वही बात कर रहे हैं जो के जी सुरेश जी, प्रियंकर सर जी ने वही बात कह रहे थे। जब पीस किस चीज से, ये युद्ध के बात नहीं कर रहा हूं। पीस फ्रॉम भ्रष्टाचार, पीस फ्रॉम स्कैम्स, पीस फ्रॉम भुखमरी, हंगर, पीस फ्रॉम तानाशाही, पीस फ्रॉम नौकरशाही, ये सब चीजों से पीस चाहिए और इसका काम हम ही लोग कर सकते हैं। अब सवाल पूछना हमारा काम है और सच्चाई सरकार को बताना हमारा काम है। जो चीज मैं जाना हूं एज ए जर्नलिस्ट, मेरा काम वही है, टू टेल द ट्रूथ टू द पावर, सत्ता को सच्चाई बताना और आंखों से आंख मिला के बताना। तो ये किस चीज के लिए होता है और किन लोगों के लिए होता है? वो पीस के लिए, वो समाज की व्यवस्था को सही लाने के लिए सरकार या तो सत्ता को सवाल पूछना। जिस स्टेट से मैं हूं, आज आप देखिए, कुछ ही दिन पहले वर्ल्ड हंगर इंडेक्स आया था ना? नहीं, इंडिया पोजीशन 121 देशों में से 107 में है। 75 साल हम इंडिपेंडेंस बना रहे हैं, विश्व गुरु होने की बात कर रहे हैं। गांधी वही कहा था, वही नेशन विश्व गुरु हो सकता है जो पीस की आधार पर आगे ले सकता है। के जी सुरेश जी बोल रहे थे, अगर आपके पास खाना नहीं है, अगर आप भूखमरी है, उस आदमी को आप पीस के बारे में बता नहीं सकते, ना ही वो पीस को एहसास कर सकता है। मैं जिस स्टेट में आया हूं, मुझे ताज्जुब होता है, एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी बस 25 साल पहले फॉर्म हुआ, आज वो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी देश के 4 सबसे धनी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज में आ गया। सबसे 4 पैसों वाले पॉलिटिकल पार्टी में गिना था। मैं किसी का नाम लेना नहीं चाहता हूं, लेकिन उड़ीसा आज भी देश के सबसे गरीब राज्यों में नीचे से 2 नंबर में है। क्यों? आज उड़ीसा के आउट ऑफ 147 एमएलए विधायक से 92% आर करोड़पतिस, और उड़ीसा के 97 लाख जो फैमिलीज है, टोटल 92 लाख फैमिलीज दैट डिपेंड ऑन सब्सिडाइज राशन। इसका सवाल आप करेंगे, इसका सवाल हम जैसे पत्रकार करेंगे। यही पीस की बात है। ये सबसे बड़ी जो स्मार्टनेस की बात आप कर रहे हैं, ये 2020 छोड़ दीजिए, पत्रकारिता अब 2020 में आ गया है, वायरल न्यूज पे आ गया है। रीमा जी बोल रहे थे किस तरह की वायरल और फेक न्यूज की बात हो रही है। क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है? इसके बारे में हमको ही सोचना है। लैंड स्कैम के बारे में हमको सोचना है। ये तमाम स्कैम्स है, इसके बारे में कौन खुलासा करेगा? खुलासा हमको करना है। जो पीस की बात कर रहे हैं, किस चीज पीस की बात कर रहे हैं? एक छोटा सा उदाहरण आपको देता हूं। जब रावण ने सीता को अपहरण कर रहा था, तो दुनिया की सारे ब्रह्मांड में देवा देवी लोग देख रहे थे। सारे पशु पक्षियों ने, पहाड़, नदी, झरना सब देख रहे थे। किसी ने भी उसका विरोध नहीं किया। विरोध किसने किया? जटायु ने किया। और जटायु को बुरी तरह से घायल करके रावण ने सीता मैया को लेकर चले गए। जब राम आते हैं तब उनको पहला सवाल पूछते हैं, बड़ी दर्द के साथ मौत को प्रतीक्षा में जटायु पड़ा रहता है, राम आते और उनको पूछते हैं कि जटायु क्या जरूरत था कि रावण को इस तरह से विरोध करने का? तुमको पता है रावण कितना प्रतापी और कितना बलशाली है। तो जटायु ने क्या उत्तर दिया? जटायु ने उत्तर दिया कि मुझे पता था रावण बहुत बलशाली है, मुझे पता था रावण मुझे मार देगा, लेकिन मैं इसलिए किया कि मेरा कर्तव्य है विरोध करना, मेरा कर्तव्य है इसके खिलाफ आवाज उठाना। तो वही बात मैं कहना चाहता हूं। आज से 50 साल 100 साल पहले जो जर्नलिज्म के स्टूडेंट आएंगे वो नहीं बोलेंगे हमसे पहले जो जर्नलिस्ट थे, जब देश में भूखमरी चल रहा था, जब देश में लोगों के साथ अन्याय अत्याचार होता था, जब देश के किसी एक धर्म के लोगों के साथ अन्याय होता था, तो ये पूरा तमाम जो है मीडिया चुप बैठा था, उन्होंने आवाज नहीं उठा रहे थे। तो जटायु जैसा बोला कि मेरा कर्तव्य था आवाज उठाना, तो वही पीस है। पीस की बात नहीं है, तो पीस है कि आप कम से कम आवाज उठाओ। तो आप लोग में वही कंफ्यूजन होगा, करियर है, प्रमोशन है, अच्छे नौकरी है, अच्छे जिस चैनल में ज्यादा झगड़ा होता है वहां अगर रीमा जी जैसे बोले कि वहां अगर मुझे एंकर का पोस्ट मिल जाता है तो ज्यादा लोग मुझे देखेंगे, ज्यादा लोग मेरी तारीफ करेंगे, ज्यादा झगड़ेलू मैं बन जाऊंगा, ज्यादा झगड़ा लगाऊंगा। लेकिन एंड ऑफ द डे आप ये जवाब देंगे जे आप सिर्फ पूरा जीवन आपका चला गया झगड़ा लगाने में। तो सबसे टाइम हो गया, इसलिए मेरा जो भी कुछ कहना था उसको मैं समाप्त करता हूं एक श्लोक से जो आप सब जानते हैं, जो शांति की सबसे बढ़िया मंत्र है, सबसे बढ़िया श्लोक है। ये हमारे जो बोला ना, जो कल्चर ऑफ पीस की मैं बात कर रहा हूं, जो कॉइन की है, नॉट प्रमोटिंग पीस, प्रमोटिंग द कल्चर ऑफ पीस, वो होना चाहिए। वो हमारे साथ नहीं है, हमारा अपब्रिंगिंग के साथ नहीं हो रहा है, हमारा ओरिएंटेशन में नहीं हो रहा है। MIT वो अपब्रिंगिंग आपको दे रहा है, वो है सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिना, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिना, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया मतलब किसी एक भी सरकारी अस्पताल, किसी भी स्टेट चुन लीजिए, मिनिमम 40% डॉक्टर पोस्ट और नॉन मेडिकल जो पारा मेडिकल पोस्ट मिनिमम 50% खाली रहता है। मेरा स्टेट का हेल्थ बजट रन्स अराउंड सम थाउजेंड्स ऑफ करोड्स। किसी एक भी सरकारी सबसे बड़ा मेडिकल कॉलेज हॉस्पिटल में आज तक किडनी ट्रांसप्लांट, ओपन हार्ट सर्जरी, जो भी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सर्जरीज जिसमें एक आम आदमी, गरीब आदमी को मिल सके, नहीं हो पा रहा है। एक छोटे छोटे प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल्स ये इतना बढ़िया स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट मेडिकल फैसिलिटीज दे रहे हैं, हम क्यों नहीं दे पा रहे हैं? हमारे अंदर वो पीस नहीं है फैक्टर। पीस किससे आएगा? आपको खुशी रखने से, आपको द्विधा से बचाने से, आपको पीड़ा से बचाने से। जो सत्ता में आते, जो पत्रकार है, हमारा काम है दूसरों को पीड़ा से बचाने से पीस आएगा। वही पीस का मंत्र मैं समझता हूं, आप भी समझिए। एज ए जर्नलिस्ट वही काम हम करेंगे, जितना भी कठोर क्यों ना हो, आंख से आंख मिलाके सत्ता को सवाल पूछेंगे और सत्ता को सच्चाई बतलाएंगे। नमस्कार।
Thank you very much, Shri Satya Prakash Nayak ji. Thank you very much for your words of wisdom and the way you delivered. It all touched our hearts. Thank you very much, sir. And now we have reached the occasion where we will take away the most important message of this 4th NCMJ through an oath. So I would like to request the Director of School of Media and Communications at MIT World Peace University, Dr. Shri Dheeraj Singh ji, to administer an oath, for which I would like to request each one of you on the dais and off the dais to please rise in your seats. May I request all of you and all the student friends sitting in the front to please rise in your seats. Please hold your right hand forward. Please hold your right hand forward and follow after sir.
We, the delegates of the 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism, do hereby pledge
to make every effort in bringing a culture of dialogue, inclusivity, and peace in our everyday life, and as citizens to ensure that the right to peace becomes a reality in our lifetimes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. And I now request to kindly continue with proposing the vote of thanks. I request all the dignitaries to be seated, please. All the student friends to be seated, please. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Gautam. It is with great pleasure that I stand before you to express my heartfelt gratitude for helping us to make the 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism a huge success. First and foremost, I would like to acknowledge the inspiration for connecting journalism with peace that was provided by our revered founder, Dr. Professor Vishwanath D. Karad. But an idea is never enough. One needs to execute it finely and with great details. For that, we thank our Executive President, Dr. Rahul V. Karad, for his help and support and encouragement in bringing and manifesting this huge conference from an idea to a state of reality and success. The 4th edition of this National Conference of Media and Journalism saw the confluence of leading lights, leading media personalities from across the country who discussed and deliberated upon the idea of some very key and burning issues of not just the media, but the entire country. This happened over a period of 3 eventful and very exciting days. Our immense gratitude to our respected Executive President for making the 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism a reality and a success. I would also like to thank Shri Swapnil Baparji, President of Pune Union of Working Journalists, our partner. Also, Srimati Usha Lakshmanji, Director of R.K. Lakshman Museum, who also partnered with us in making the NCMJ a reality. Members of the Mumbai Press Club, who were partners in this conference and trying to make it a reality. I also would like to thank the Foreign Correspondents Club of South Asia, whose unwavering support for the entire event and whose presence at one of the sessions added tremendous value to the event. Besides organizing 3 insightful plenary sessions spanning across 3 days, this year we also constituted the Journalism for Peace Award for the very first time in the history of the country. It is our greatest honor that we have had 3 winners: Ms. Ravleen Kaur, independent journalist and a contributor to Down to Earth magazine; Ms. Neetu Singh, independent journalist for The Gaon Connection; and Mr. Sushil Kumar Mahapatra, editor, NDTV, with us on the stage on the very first day to receive these 3 awards. My warmest regards to all the winners and our esteemed jury members, of which Shri K.G. Sudesh is present here with us. I'd also like to thank Shri Rashid Kidwai, Ms. Patricia Mukim, and Ms. Nirupma Subramanian, and our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ravi Kumar Chitnis, to be part of the jury in deciding the winners of the first Journalism for Peace Awards. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all our guests of honors across the 3 days and those present today who enlightened us, both students and all members attending these 3 days of conference, about what needs to be done in the media, how we can make things better, what is the way forward from here. I'd like to mention the name especially of Sri Jawahar Sarkar, who was present on the first day, Srimati Smita Prakash, also a delegate on the inaugural session, Sri Anand Bhaskar Rapulu, Sri Raghavendra Verma, Sri T. Surender, Sri Satyaprakash Naik ji, Professor K.G. Suresh, Ms. Reema Parashar, and Professor Priyanka Upadhyay, who graced the occasion and presented with us their insights on their topics. It is also my immense pleasure to acknowledge the contributions of the IR team of MIT World Peace University, our advisors and patrons, deans and directors of various schools, and every single member of the various committees that went in organizing the three-day conference. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the audience, our students who have worked day and night with the faculty member to ascertain the success of this conference. I hope this conference has served its purpose and reason to be in providing you with the much needed exposure to the world of media, as well as to facilitate experiential learning outside the classroom. Thank you all for becoming a part of the 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism, and we hope in the days to come we better what we have achieved today through this 4th edition. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for bringing the 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism to an end with a very, very beautiful address. Thank you very much. My friends, with this we have come to the conclusion of 4th National Conference on Media and Journalism. But this legacy, this journey would continue next year also with the 5th edition of National Conference on Media and Journalism. But at this moment, we would like to thank once again all the dignitaries, not just today, but all those who joined us for the last 2 days. And we would like to congratulate the entire organizing team who worked relentlessly day in, day out, because I'm sure you would know setting up such a big event is not an easy task, and neither the task of one person. So a huge team was working behind the scene. So all the hearty congratulations to the team for successful conduct of 4th NCMJ. My friends, after this we will have the national anthem followed by the lunch. You all are aware the lunch is organized for all the students on this side, my right hand side, downstairs. So please enjoy your lunch, and after you enjoy your lunch, please come back at the registration desk, and this beautiful memorabilia is there for you waiting after your lunch. It's a beautiful bottle which says dialogue, inclusivity and peace. So carry this message with you and keep it on your desk, which will keep reminding you that we have to work towards world peace. Thank you very much all the dignitaries. Thank you very much. I request all of you to rise in your seats for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
भारत माता की, I can't hear it. भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की. Thank you very much. Thank you very much everyone on the dais, off the dais, for being part of 4th NCMJ. See you all.